Hey guys, it's Marty and welcome to Two Lines Slot Cars. This week's video, we're going to break down the Thunderslot Shelby GT350. So I just thought we would tear it down, show you what I've done to it so far, and talk a little bit about lap times. I know we covered some of this on my live stream on Tuesday, but I thought there are a lot of people who are starting to get this car, and I thought it would be good to share what I was able to figure out with this car. I ended up tuning two of them, and I have them both running pretty well. I feel pretty confident in them, but I have some questions too. Some of you who have them and are now tuning them, what are you seeing? Where do you like the weight? How much weight did you add to them? I know you tuned for your track, and I feel like I've got it running really well on my track. So let's switch over to the other camera, take a look at the Thunderslot Mustang. So let's take the body off. The body just looks fantastic. I really, really think that they nailed it. And then this chassis, I'm loving this chassis. I love how it moves and how it reacts. I think that, I don't know, I think they have a lot of potential in what they can build on top of this chassis. So I could see lots of other bodies, other Trans Am cars. I mean, of course, you can do all kinds of awesome liveries with the Mustang or Camaro or Cuda. So really be interesting. This is what it looks like. It is pretty simple, but it kind of reminds me of a Flexi chassis. I've not had my hands on one, but just how that whole motor pod is attached to the front. I think this chassis is great. I really think that it's a neat design. Get a lot of float because of how the chassis is built. The guide and the motor pod are all one piece, and you just have a lot of room to flex. I don't know. It performs really well. Top heavy body on top of it. So really pleased with how it runs. So what I've done so far, I adjusted the front end so that the tires are level, and I have the guide about as far as I can get it in the slot. This thing stays in the slot on the track. I've got just a touch of side to side play in the front. I kind of like having a little bit of play there. Maybe it could be a little tighter. I don't know. I don't want it to bind. I want those wheels to roll. I need the truer. So I think that I really need to true those front tires. They're not perfect. So I did put a set of 1403 super tires on the rear. Obviously, I lubed the gears and all the bushings. This is a motor. I've not broken in this motor. Although I do have a couple hundred laps. I looked in on the brushes, and I don't think I can take a good enough picture, but yeah, the motor's not broken yet. So some more laps. I don't know that I will do a break-in on my power supply. I think I'll just continue to do laps. And then I've got about 3.5 grams of weight, and I put that weight right down the spine of that motor pod. Now, this is not, it's not tail happy. It really locks in and gets around the corners. Not a lot of drifting unless I really get on the accelerator. So I'm really happy with where the weight is, but I would like to maybe play around and move it around, but it's running so well. I have had a few people reach out, John Albright, one of them, saying to maybe potentially reroute the wires over the axles and not through the chassis, because they feel like maybe they limit the movement of the chassis. I'm not really getting a sense for that, but I may try that anyway. I mean, we're looking for tenths of a second at this point to make this car as fast as possible. It's probably worth a try. Pretty simple design, but it seems to work really, really well with this body on it. Yeah, I don't know if you have any questions. Leave comments. We can dive in. And I don't know, there's not a lot to talk about. I have a slot I have a slot invasion guide to put on it that I'd ordered, knowing that I would eventually get one of these. But I don't know, this guide seems to do really well. It's about the same size. It does have a little bit of shape to it, but I'm not sure that is a problem. Outside of that, John Albright talked about the fact that you can push these wheel inserts in to give you a little wider wheel look, so like a little deeper dish, which is kind of cool. But all in all, I'm really happy with the performance. Okay, so let's put this car back together and get it out on the track and run some laps and compare times, see how it's running. Guys, there you have it. The Thunderslot GT350, the Shelby Mustang on the track, running really well. 8.519, which puts it at about 7th fastest on my track. That's a good time. 8.2 is the track record. No magnets, analog. So that's a really respectable, for a Mustang body slot car, that is really respectable time. Top time was 8.519. Ran a lot of consistent 8.6, 8.7, 8.8, 8.9 laps. The only time I was not in the mid eights, was when I came out of the slot, which was a handful of times. I made some adjustments to the front end, and I think I went too far and started coming out of the slot a little bit. So I'm going to go back to that. Did some work on the motor, trying to break it in a little bit, some run in, and I feel like I got a little bit of speed, and that might be, I may need to adjust my brakes a little bit. I think that might correct it. But guys, if you like this kind of content, you want to know more about the Thunderslot Shelby GT350 or other slot cars, hit the subscribe button, give me a thumbs up, and hit the bell so you get notified anytime I put new content out there. Guys, I really appreciate everybody's support, and this is a lot of fun. And I hope that this weekend you get out there and do some racing. Thanks, guys.